Hey, like Alex said, I'm not a tech founder. I'm a marketing type guy. Although I'm different than most marketers, and I think almost all of marketing is BS. I think the little bit of marketing that's not BS is mostly easy, and marketing companies spend a lot of time trying to convince you it's not, so you can pay them money. So today we're going to talk about a specific part of that. We're going to talk about data. Who here works for a company that would consider themselves a data-driven company? And everyone who's hands down or is unemployed, is that the way it works? Everyone's data-driven. What's the opposite of being a data-driven company? Like an unintelligent company, maybe? So basically, data is like the everything now, right? Like you can't be against data any more than you can be against diversity or transparency or driving profit for your shareholders. Data is like the thing. I worked for a company called McKinsey & Company, and we were a data-driven consulting firm. Everyone had to be data-driven. The only person who could choose to be not data-driven were the senior partners. So you could put together this incredible data-driven presentation for your client, and the senior partner could come in from the airport and blow it all up based on a conversation with a taxi driver on the way there to the meeting. Happened all the time. And so there's something about when you become senior enough, you can start saying, hey, maybe the emperor has no clothes. Maybe data isn't the be-all and the end-all. Who is on top of what one individual is on top of the world right now? The number one guy who's like the most successful person on the planet. Definitely not Elon Musk. He's being sued by the SEC. This guy maybe, right? Jeff Bezos. He built this company from scratch, a super data-driven company. He announces he's going into healthcare, and all healthcare stocks drop. Right? Like, it's a data-driven power. I swear, if this guy said he's going to go into oil, I think Saudi Arabia would break up in a revolution. Right? Like, he is just like killing it. What does now that Jeff Bezos is on top of the world and he built this data-driven company, what does he say about data? He says, the thing I've noticed is when anecdotes and data disagree, the anecdotes are usually right. There's something wrong with the way you're measuring your data. Which is a really nice way of Jeff Bezos saying data-driven companies are BS. Data-driven is BS. Okay, this is the path of a marketer. We're going to go through this super quickly. People start off with thinking, hey, marketing's really hard. What is this thing? I don't know what it is. They go to school and they realize, wait a minute, it's all common sense. This is really simple. Marketing's easy. And then they go a little bit further and they realize, wait a minute, marketing is all math. Math is hard. Oh my goodness, what is this stuff? It's like finance. And then they go a little bit further and like, wait a minute, marketing is just math. This is easy. And it takes till you get really, really far along that it circles around again and says, hey, it's not just data, it's actually really, really hard again to figure out what's working and what isn't. So let's talk about a few companies that are data-driven. Do you guys know who this guy is? Anybody? Nobody? This is Andrew Mason. Andrew Mason founded this company. These guys were like the machine for a while. I don't know how well they did in Toronto, but all through the US and Seattle, like, people would open up their phones first thing in the morning so excited about what the next deal was going to be. It was a killer company. They did their first national deal was with the Gap. The Gap deal sold 400,000 coupons in 8 hours. It made the company $11 million, of which half was pure profit. This company was just killing it. They sent out 5 emails a week, and they said, how are we going to grow this business to be bigger? They said, let's send out 7 emails a week. So they send out 1 email every day. But then what do you do? What do you do once you send out an email every day? What if we sent out more than 1 email a day? And so the team said, hey, let's go take this to Andrew. What did Andrew say about this idea? He said, that's a terrible idea. And so what did the team say to Andrew? They said, but Andrew, as a company, we're data-driven. Let's test it. And so they tested it. And the result? They tested it, and it was fine. The sales went up. Unsubscribes were barely touched. It was a rational decision. They went ahead. They started doing more and more deals. You can't test the long-term impact. The long-term impact was really, really hard. So what does Andrew say now? Groupon is now a list of coupons. It's a vestige of what it once was. His biggest regret was being a data-driven company. Okay, we'll do one more. I was at Expedia 10 years ago. I helped build the first landing pages team at Expedia. We started doing testing. The platform was really, really hard, but we invested in the platform, and now Expedia runs 2,000 tests a day. 2,000, I pulled an Alex there. 2,000 tests a year. Wrong unit. 2,000 tests a year. They have a whole team dedicated just running test after test after test. They're measured on how many tests they can run. I want to talk about one of their more recent tests. This test was, I call it the Airbnb test. So Airbnb was doing taking professional photographers and sending them to homes and taking photos of them. Expedia never did that. They said, well, maybe we should. So they went and set up a great test. They took 2,000 properties in the northeastern United States, divided them in two randomly between 1,000 that they would test and 1,000 they wouldn't. The 1,000 they test, they sent out photographers to take photos. They spent $400,000 taking photos of these hotels. Beautiful, beautiful photos. Then they ran a test to see, is conversion rate going to go up? And the result, the test lost. $400,000 down the drain. But that's okay, right? They're a data-driven company. They run tests. They failed fast. They canceled the test. They're not going to invest in professional photos anymore. They're going to move on. But wait, there was something weird. The test didn't break even. The test lost. So the professional photos converted worse than the crappy photos the hotels were taking themselves. So that's weird. But they're data-driven, so they moved on. They don't need to know. Sometimes anecdotes and data conflict, and if you're a data-driven company, the anecdotes win, and you move on to the next step. But there was one guy there who said, something's not right. Let's dig in a little deeper. And so he looked to see where were those photos appearing on the Expedia site. And there's two places. This is the hotel results page. So you search and you get a list of the hotels, and there's a thumbnail photo that appears. The second page was on the hotel details page where you can see all the photos, like tons and tons and tons of photos. And what happened was, on this page, conversion rate was way, way, way down. But on this page, conversion rate was up. So what does that mean? What's going on? It was kind of weird. They couldn't figure it out. And so he sat down and thought about it a little bit. He used his brain. And they thought, when did we run this test? When did we run the test? They ran the test in February. What does the Northeast United States look like in February? Something like that. What does exterior shots of hotels look like when you take the pictures in February? Something like that. And so when this is your hotel search results page, who clicks on that? Not many people, which is why the conversion rate was way down. So hey, data isn't bad. They solved this problem using data, but it took thinking about how to use the data and how to work it properly in order to make it work. And if they hadn't done that, the default team that was running this like data-driven testing, they had like a religion about it, and that religion is dangerous. So instead of all you people who put your hands up and you're saying you're a data-driven company, my recommendation for you is stop thinking of yourselves as a data-driven company and start thinking about yourselves as like a thinking-driven company. Now, if you're thinking, a lot of thinking involves data, but a lot of it doesn't. And it's that balance between the two that really matters and can get you out of a lot of trouble that you end up in, like Andrew Mason did, like Jeff Bezos is afraid that Amazon is falling into now. Thank you.
Okay. 2 questions. Ed, are you staying around for a couple drinks after?
Yeah. Oh, you said I was flying back tonight. I'm not flying back tonight. I'm staying at your house tonight.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Cello knows, I think.
Hi there. On your comment about being a thinking-driven versus a data-driven company, the beauty of being data-driven, though, is that it scales. There's a finite supply of people who have the cleverness and the understanding of context to think and produce effective decisions. How do you scale a thinking company?
So my general take is so you need people that think. Is what so I have a whole other presentation about the dangers of AI, so we can talk about that some other day. You need people. You need people that think. For any given dollar amount that you have to hire somebody, you can hire one of 2 things. You can hire experience or you can hire intelligence. And obviously you want someone who's super experienced and super smart, and that's going to cost you more than you can afford. And so there's a trade-off between the two. And my bias is hire for intelligence over experience on every single job, except for like if you have a butcher, hire for experience. But like any job that involves thinking, which is most of the jobs in the new workforce, is intelligence beats experience every single time. And if you have someone who's really experienced but not that intelligent, you just don't want to bring them on. It's not worth the risk. They're too expensive for what the value they provide.
Thank you, Edward. I do digital content marketing, and I run a variety of campaigns on various channels, including LinkedIn. But sometimes I have realized that instinct works really, really well as opposed to data. What are your thoughts?
Yes.
Let's do one more question.
I'll expand. The risk is that for every time that instinct gets you right, there's people who have instinct where the data says totally the wrong things. I have been proven wrong by data many, many times in my life. We were at a place for mom, and we paid Joan London was our celebrity spokesperson, and she was awesome. She was doing tons of things for us. And my head of brand wanted to test a homepage without Joan on it, and I'm like, no. We're paying her $500,000 a year, and people love her. We should like keep her on there and use her. And he's like, well, we should test it. And so we tested not having Joan on the homepage, and it killed it. So it did much, much better than Joan. Data is a tool in your arsenal, and you should not ignore it, but it's just a tool, and it's not the be-all and the end-all.